Today is Monday, November 13th, and I'm just wondering if the New York Giants might be the most awful football team on planet Earth. And I'm also wondering if I can find someone to pay me $77 million to just go away, as the Aggies did with their head coach Jimbo Fisher.
Are all financial advisors fiduciaries? Fewer than you think. Not knowing could reduce your lifestyle. Hi, I'm Mitch Kramer, founder and CEO of Fluent Financial. A fiduciary is a regulatory term to reduce conflicts of interest in wealth management. A fiduciary always works in your best interest. A non-fiduciary advisor might put their compensation or company ahead of yours. At Fluent Financial, we are certified financial planners acting as fiduciary advisors. To learn more, go to fluentfinancial.com or Fluent Financial's YouTube channel.
On Friday's podcast, we calculated the New York Giants' misery index. New York just got more miserable on Sunday, if that's possible. The litany of numbers from Sunday's 49-17 loss to the Cowboys is just staggering. New York on third down, 0 for 12 for the game. They never converted a third down in the entire game. In the first 33 minutes of the game, New York had 11 yards of total offense. They allowed 640 yards, the second most ever piled up by the Dallas offense in their 63 years in the NFL. And that 640 yards was the most allowed by the Giants in a game since they played the Bears in 1943. They already were down to the number 3 quarterback. And then in the game, they lost their best pass rusher, Kayvon Thibodeau. They were already missing the number 1 cornerback, Adoree Jackson. And then they lost 2 more cornerbacks to injury. Going into the game, one of the few good things Giants could say is they were number 7 in the league in time of possession. Well, on Sunday, Dallas kept the ball for 37 and a half minutes. The Giants allowed 245 yards in the second quarter alone. At one point of the game, between the second and third quarters, Dallas gained 330 yards on just 22 plays. That means the Giants, by the way, are now 1-13 against the Cowboys in their last 14 meetings. We talked Friday about how the Giants had to start third stringer Tommy DeVito, no relation to Danny. But maybe if they'd had Danny, at least they'd have been a little more entertaining. CeeDee Lamb set an all-time NFL record. First wide receiver to have 3 consecutive games of catching at least 10 passes for at least 150 yards. That had never been done before Sunday. Oh, Dallas did have some problems. They didn't run the ball very well early until the Giants wilted and then numbers got better. But they're now 6-3, and only Philadelphia, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Detroit have better records. There are 7 other teams in the tightly bunched NFL that have exactly 6 wins like the Cowboys, and Buffalo could make it 8 teams with 6 wins if they beat Denver on Monday night. But meanwhile, oh, hail. No, I'm not cursing. That's the name of a terrific Dallas roofing company in business more than a decade. They handle residential or commercial properties. And those weird insurance forms that seem to be written in a foreign language? Oh, Hail can simplify that process for you also. So, the next time something happens to your roof, just say, oh, Hail. OHHHAIL.com. Oh, Hail. The biggest football story in the state of Texas this weekend was Texas A&M deciding to fire head football coach Jimbo Fisher. At his exit, Fisher is owed more than $75 million on a fully guaranteed contract he signed in 2021. The Aggies fired Kevin Sumlin back in 2017 and lured Fisher away from Florida State with the biggest contract ever given a college football coach. The Aggies had dreams of national championship rings and all the glory they were going to experience. What they got was patented mediocrity. Fisher, 45-25, which doesn't sound bad until you realize the guy they fired to hire Fisher, Kevin Sumlin, actually had a better winning percentage when he left than Fisher compiled. The Aggies under Fisher are just 26-21 against SEC opponents. They're 3-16 as underdogs, one of the worst records in college football over the last few years. Hey, he did recruit well. He had the number one recruiting class in 2022. Number one, better than everybody, and terrific recruiting classes in 21 and 23. But those supposedly wonderful recruiting classes, that talent was never reflected on the scoreboard over the last few years. Since Fisher signed that huge $95 million all-guaranteed extension in 2021, his Aggies are 10-13 against SEC teams and 12-14 against all Power 5 teams. Now, speculation turns to who might replace Fisher and how much more it's going to cost the Aggies to also buy out his assistant coaches who had guaranteed contracts. Then how much it's going to cost to hire their next coach. But I don't want to get into that stuff. I'm just wondering about that buyout. And that a school was able to quickly round up more than $75 million so they could fire their head coach. I'm also wondering the tens of thousands of causes and charities that could have used that money to accomplish so much more than to simply fire a football coach.
Just Wondering with Norm Hitzges is brought to you by Fluent Financial, O'Hill Roofing, and Goodness Steak Seasoning. Look for links in the description. Just Wondering is a production of DSP Media for FanStream Sports. You can find Norm's show along with other great programming at fanstreamsports.com.